Moonlight Promises by Simon Cross. The Seattle rain tapped gently against the windows of Café Lumiere, creating a soothing rhythm that matched the soft jazz playing in the background. Sophia Chen glanced at her watch, took another sip of her now lukewarm cappuccino, and resigned herself to being stood up. Again. 30 minutes is my limit, she murmured to herself, gathering her belongings. At 32, Sophia had endured enough disappointing dates to establish firm boundaries. As the owner of a small but thriving bookstore in downtown Seattle, she had built her life around stories, just not her own love story, which remained frustratingly unwritten. Just as she stood to leave, the cafe door burst open, bringing with it a gust of rain and a breathless man. His dark hair was damp, his blue button-down shirt speckled with raindrops, and his expression frantic as his eyes searched the room. "Sophia?" he called, spotting her near the back. "I'm so sorry I'm late. I'm Michael. Michael Ross." Sophia hesitated, one hand on her purse. "You're 35 minutes late." "I know, and I have no excuse except the truth." He approached her table, remaining standing as if awaiting permission to sit. "My sister's car broke down with my niece in it. I had to help them before coming here." Something in his expression, earnest, apologetic, but not pleading, made Sophia reconsider. She slowly sat back down. "Family emergency?" she asked, raising an eyebrow. Michael nodded, relief washing over his features as he took the seat across from her. "My sister's a single mom. When she calls, I come running." "That's actually a good reason." Sophia signaled to the barista. "Start over. Fresh coffee?" "I'd like that very much." Michael smiled, revealing a slight dimple in his left cheek. As the evening progressed, Sophia found herself increasingly charmed by Michael. Unlike the polished tech executives and startup founders she'd dated recently, Michael was refreshingly authentic. A landscape architect who had moved from Chicago to Seattle 3 years ago, he spoke passionately about urban green spaces and sustainable design. "I believe cities can be both functional and beautiful," he explained, his hands moving animatedly. "My current project is revitalizing a neglected park in the Central District, turning it into a community garden and gathering space." "That sounds wonderful," Sophia replied, genuinely interested. "My bookstore hosts monthly community readings. Maybe we could collaborate sometime, an outdoor reading in your revitalized park." Michael's eyes lit up. That would be perfect. A fusion of literature and nature. By the time they left the cafe, the rain had stopped, leaving the streets glistening under the streetlights. They walked together toward the waterfront, conversation flowing easily between them. "So, tell me about your bookstore," Michael prompted. "What made you decide to open one in the age of online retailers and e-books?" Sophia smiled, her passion evident. "I believe in creating spaces where people connect with books and with each other. Between Pages isn't just a bookstore, it's a community hub. We host book clubs, author events, writing workshops. In a digital world, people crave tangible experiences and genuine connections." "I understand completely," Michael nodded. "That's similar to my philosophy with green spaces, creating environments where people can disconnect from screens and reconnect with nature and each other." They paused at the railing overlooking Elliott Bay, the moonlight casting silver reflections on the water. The Space Needle glowed in the distance, a sentinel watching over the city. "Beautiful night," Michael commented, standing close enough that Sophia could feel the warmth radiating from him. "It is," she agreed, acutely aware of his proximity. "Worth waiting 35 minutes for." Michael chuckled, turning to face her. "Does this mean I'm forgiven?" "Let's say you're on probation," Sophia replied with a playful smile. "But your prospects look promising." When he kissed her goodnight at her apartment door, it was gentle and brief, respectful yet full of possibility. Sophia watched him walk away, a curious blend of excitement and apprehension swirling within her. Their second date was at the Seattle Art Museum, where a special exhibition of contemporary Asian artists captivated them both. Michael listened attentively as Sophia shared her knowledge of Chinese calligraphy, a hobby she had inherited from her grandfather. "The brushstrokes reveal the artist's emotions," she explained, pointing to a particularly striking piece. "See how these characters flow. There's both strength and vulnerability there." Michael studied the artwork, then glanced at Sophia. "Like you," he said quietly. "What do you mean?" "You have that same quality. Strength and vulnerability together. It's compelling." Sophia felt herself blushing, unaccustomed to being seen so clearly. You're quite observant. Professional hazard, Michael grinned. Landscape architects have to notice details. How light falls, how water flows, how people move through spaces. After the museum, they wandered through Pike Place Market, sampling artisanal chocolates and watching fish sellers toss enormous salmon with theatrical flair. As they walked, their hands brushed occasionally, until Michael gently took hers in his. His palm was warm and slightly calloused, hands that worked with earth and plants. "Is this okay?" he asked. Sophia nodded, intertwining her fingers with his. "Very okay." That evening, Michael cooked dinner at his apartment, a spacious loft with floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking Lake Union. The space was filled with plants of all varieties, creating an indoor urban jungle that reflected his profession. "I hope you like Mediterranean food," he said, drizzling olive oil over a colorful salad. "It's my specialty." "It smells amazing," Sophia replied, sipping the wine he'd offered. As they ate and talked, Sophia found herself increasingly drawn to Michael's thoughtfulness and depth. When he spoke about his work, his niece, or his dreams for the future, she sensed no pretense, just authentic passion and integrity. After dinner, they sat on his balcony, watching boats glide across the lake. The conversation turned to past relationships, territory they had avoided until now. "My last serious relationship ended 2 years ago," Michael revealed. "Caroline was brilliant, a neuroscientist with a phenomenal mind. But ultimately, we wanted different things. She received a prestigious fellowship in London, and I wasn't willing to leave Seattle. My work, my sister and niece, they're here." "Family is important to you," Sophia observed. "Essential," Michael confirmed. "What about you? Why is someone as remarkable as you still single?" Sophia traced the rim of her wine glass. "My last relationship ended badly. James and I dated for 3 years. I thought we were building a future together, but..." She hesitated. "He was seeing someone else for the last 6 months we were together. His assistant." Michael's expression darkened. "I'm sorry. That must have been incredibly painful." "It was," Sophia acknowledged. "But it taught me something important. I'd rather be alone than with someone who doesn't value honesty and commitment." "I couldn't agree more," Michael said, reaching for her hand. Later, when he kissed her goodnight, there was a new intensity between them, a deeper connection forged through mutual understanding and growing trust. Over the following weeks, Sophia and Michael's relationship blossomed. They established a comfortable rhythm, spending weekends exploring Seattle's neighborhoods and weeknights at either her apartment or his loft, cooking together or reading in companionable silence. Sophia introduced Michael to her closest friends, May, her business partner at the bookstore, and David, her former college roommate who now worked as a software engineer. Both approved wholeheartedly of Michael, noting the way Sophia seemed more relaxed and joyful in his presence. "He looks at you like you're the most fascinating book he's ever encountered," May commented after a group dinner. "And honey, that man can cook." Keeper status confirmed. Michael likewise incorporated Sophia into his world. She met his sister, Rebecca, and 9-year-old niece, Lily, during a Sunday brunch that turned into an afternoon of board games and laughter. Rebecca pulled Sophia aside as they washed dishes together. "I haven't seen my brother this happy in years," she confided. "Whatever you're doing, please keep doing it." As spring turned to summer, Michael took Sophia to visit his community garden project, now flourishing with vegetables, flowers, and a small orchard of fruit trees. Neighborhood residents tended their plots, children played on natural wood structures, and elderly couples sat on benches beneath flowering trellises. "This is incredible," Sophia marveled, taking in the transformation from the before photos he'd shown her. "You've created something beautiful here." "We all did," Michael corrected, greeting various gardeners by name as they walked through the space. "That's the beauty of community projects, they belong to everyone." That evening, as they lay on a blanket in the grass, watching the stars appear in the darkening sky, Michael turned to Sophia. "I'm falling in love with you," he said simply, his voice steady despite the weight of his words. "I don't expect you to say it back. I just wanted you to know." Sophia held his gaze, her heart racing. Part of her wanted to retreat, to protect herself from potential hurt, but a stronger part recognized the rarity of what they were building together. "I'm falling in love with you too," she whispered, the truth of it washing over her like a wave. "And it terrifies me." Michael brushed a strand of hair from her face. "Why does it frighten you?" "Because I've been hurt before. because caring this much makes me vulnerable. Because I'm not sure I could recover if this doesn't work." "I understand," Michael said, taking her hand and kissing her palm. "We can take this as slowly as you need. I'm not going anywhere, Sophia." That night, when they made love for the first time, it was with a tenderness that brought tears to Sophia's eyes. In Michael's arms, she felt both completely safe and exhilaratingly alive, a contradiction that somehow made perfect sense. Their first serious disagreement came in late summer, when Michael was offered a prestigious 6-month fellowship in Copenhagen to study innovative urban green space design. The opportunity was exceptional, a chance to work with world-renowned landscape architects and bring cutting-edge ideas back to Seattle. "I'd be back in February," Michael explained as they sat in Sophia's apartment, "and we could video call every day." Sophia tried to hide her dismay. 6 months is a long time. We've only been together for 4. "I know it's not ideal timing," Michael acknowledged, "but professionally, this is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity." "Then you should take it," Sophia said, her voice tight despite her efforts to sound supportive. Michael studied her face. "But you're not happy about it." "Of course I'm not happy about it," Sophia exclaimed, her composure cracking. "I'll miss you terribly." And she hesitated. "Long distance rarely works, Michael." "It can work if both people are committed," he countered. "I'm committed to us, Sophia." The discussion escalated into their first real argument, with underlying fears and insecurities surfacing on both sides. Sophia, still carrying scars from past betrayal, worried that physical distance would inevitably lead to emotional distance. Michael, feeling torn between his professional aspirations and his relationship, grew frustrated at having to choose. They parted that night without resolution, both needing space to process their feelings. Sophia spent a restless night replaying their conversation, recognizing her fear of abandonment underlying her reaction. Meanwhile, Michael walked for hours along the waterfront, wrestling with his conflicting desires. The next morning, Sophia opened her bookstore to find Michael waiting outside, holding 2 cups of coffee, and looking as though he hadn't slept. "Can we talk?" he asked tentatively. She nodded, leading him to the small reading nook in the back of the store. "I've been thinking all night," Michael began once they were seated, "and I realized something important. Yes, this fellowship is an amazing opportunity. But you, Sophia, what we're building together, that's exceptional in a way no career accomplishment could ever be." "Michael, He held up a hand. "Please, let me finish. I called the program director this morning and asked if I could defer for a year." She agreed. Sophia stared at him. "You're turning it down." "Michael, I never wanted you to sacrifice your career for me." "I'm not sacrificing anything," he insisted. "I'm prioritizing. In a year, we'll be in a different place. Maybe you could even come with me. Or maybe I'll find different opportunities. But right now, being with you is where I want to be." Tears welled in Sophia's eyes. "No one has ever put me first like that." "Get used to it," Michael smiled, taking her hands, "because I plan to make a habit of it." But Sophia shook her head, coming to a sudden clarity. "No, I can't let you do this." "Sophia." "Listen to me," she interrupted, squeezing his hands. "I was scared last night. Scared of being left, scared of history repeating itself. But that's not fair to you or to us. You should accept the fellowship." "Are you sure?" Michael searched her face. "Absolutely not," Sophia laughed through her tears. "But I love you, Michael, really love you. And that means supporting your dreams, even when it's hard." 6 months will pass quickly," Michael promised, pulling her into his arms. "And we'll have video calls, weekend visits if possible," Sophia added, her voice muffled against his chest. "Every day," Michael confirmed. "And I'll come back to you. That's a promise." The Copenhagen Fellowship tested their relationship in ways both expected and surprising. The time difference made communication challenging, and both their lives continued evolving separately despite their best efforts to stay connected. Sophia threw herself into expanding her bookstore, finally opening the small cafe section she'd always dreamed of adding. Michael immersed himself in the fellowship, absorbing new techniques and philosophies that transformed his approach to landscape architecture. There were difficult moments, missed calls, misunderstandings magnified by distance, loneliness that no video chat could fully alleviate. But there were beautiful moments too, long letters sent by mail, surprise delivery of Sophia's favorite pastries on her birthday, Michael falling asleep with his tablet beside him after talking until dawn. In December, Sophia made the trip to Copenhagen, spending 2 magical weeks exploring the city with Michael as her guide. They walked along frozen canals, visited art museums, and made love in his small apartment, rediscovering each other's bodies with renewed appreciation. "Come back with me," Sophia suggested their last night together, as they sat in a cozy restaurant in Nijmegen, colorful buildings reflected in the water. "Just for the holidays. Then you can return and finish the fellowship." Michael hesitated. "I'd love to, but there's a crucial presentation the day after your flight. I can't miss it." Disappointment flickered across Sophia's face before she could hide it. "Hey," Michael said gently, reaching across the table. 2 more months. That's all. Then I'm all yours." Sophia nodded, pushing aside her disappointment. 2 months. We can do that standing on our heads. February arrived with unseasonable warmth in Seattle, as if the city were celebrating Michael's impending return. Sophia spent the day before his arrival deep cleaning her apartment, arranging fresh flowers, and preparing his favorite meal. When her phone rang that evening, Michael's tired face appeared on the screen. "Hey you," she smiled, "all packed." Michael's expression was grave. "Sophia, there's been a change of plans." Her heart stuttered. "What kind of change?" "The program director has offered me a permanent position here, leading their urban renewal initiative across Scandinavia." Sophia sat heavily on her couch, the words hitting her like physical blows. "Permanent? As in, you're not coming back?" "Not exactly." Michael ran a hand through his hair. "I want to discuss it with you. It's an incredible opportunity, but you're my priority. Maybe you could move here. Copenhagen is amazing, and you could open a second bookstore location. Or if that's impossible, maybe I could commute, spend part of the year here and part in Seattle." Sophia listened, feeling as though she were underwater, sounds distorted and movements slowed. "When do you need to decide?" "Soon. By the end of the month." "And when were you planning to tell me about this? In person?" Michael nodded. "I just found out yesterday. I'm still coming tomorrow as planned. We'll figure this out together, Sophia." After they hung up, Sophia sat motionless, staring at nothing. The familiar fear of abandonment crept back, whispering that she had been naive to trust, to love, to believe in promises. But beneath that fear, something stronger had taken root during their months apart, a confidence in herself and in what they had built together. Michael's flight arrived the next afternoon. Sophia waited at the arrival gate, her emotions a complex tangle of joy, apprehension, love, and uncertainty. When he appeared, their eyes locked across the crowded terminal, and everything else faded away. They moved toward each other, as if magnetized, colliding in an embrace that spoke volumes more than words could convey. "I missed you so much," Michael murmured into her hair. "Show me," Sophia replied, taking his hand and leading him home. Later, lying tangled in her sheets, they finally broached the subject of Copenhagen. "I won't accept the position if it means losing you," Michael stated firmly. "No job is worth that." Sophia propped herself up on one elbow, studying his beloved face. "Do you want the position? Truly?" Michael considered the question seriously. "Yes," he admitted. "The work they're doing is groundbreaking. Being part of it would be extraordinary." Sophia nodded, having expected this answer. "Then we need to find a solution that works for both of us." "What are you thinking?" "I'm thinking," Sophia said slowly, "that Between Pages has been profitable enough that May and I have discussed expanding. Copenhagen wasn't on our radar, but why not? It's a city of readers and thinkers." Michael sat up, excitement crossing his features. "Are you serious? You'd consider moving?" "I'd consider many things for the right person," Sophia replied. "But I'd need time. 6 months or so to get things in order here, train new staff, prepare May. And I'd want to visit Copenhagen again, explore neighborhoods, research the book market." "Of course," Michael nodded eagerly. "I could commute back and forth during that time. And if it doesn't work out, if you hate Copenhagen or the bookstore isn't viable, I'll turn down the permanent position." "No ultimatums," Sophia cautioned. "We'll evaluate as we go, make decisions together." Michael pulled her close, kissing her with tender intensity. "When did you become so wise?" "Somewhere between missing you terribly and realizing that love doesn't mean clinging to comfortable patterns. It means growing together, even when growth is uncomfortable." 1 year later, Sophia stood in the doorway of Between Pages Copenhagen, watching as local residents browsed the carefully curated selection of books in both English and Danish. The space was smaller than her Seattle location but no less charming, with warm wooden shelves and cozy reading nooks overlooking the canal. Michael appeared beside her, wrapping an arm around her waist. "Proud of yourself. You should be." Sophia leaned into him, savoring his solid presence. "Proud of us. This hasn't been easy." Indeed, the past year had brought challenges neither had anticipated. The logistics of opening an international business location proved far more complex than Sophia had imagined. Michael's work schedule was more demanding than expected, often keeping him away evenings and weekends. They had argued, compromised, recalibrated, and recommitted countless times. But they had also built something beautiful together. A life bridging two cities, two cultures, two dreams harmoniously intertwined. The Seattle bookstore continued thriving under May's capable management, with Sophia traveling back quarterly. Michael's work transforming urban spaces brought newfound vitality to neglected neighborhoods across Copenhagen. And their love had deepened through the challenges, becoming something more resilient and tender than the initial romantic whirlwind. "Dance with me," Michael said suddenly, pulling out his phone and playing a soft jazz melody similar to what had been playing in Café Lumière when they first met. "Here? Now?" Sophia laughed as he took her in his arms. "Why not? It's your store." As they swayed together between the bookshelves, Michael whispered in her ear, "I have something to ask you." Sophia pulled back slightly to see his face. "What is it?" Michael reached into his pocket and withdrew a small velvet box. "I was going to wait until dinner tonight, but this moment feels right." Sophia's breath caught as he opened the box, revealing a vintage emerald ring. "Sophia Chen, you crossed an ocean for me, literally and figuratively. You've shown me what true partnership means. Would you do me the extraordinary honor of becoming my wife?" Tears filled Sophia's eyes as she looked from the ring to the man holding it. The man who had proven himself worthy of her trust, her heart, her future. "Yes," she whispered, her voice gathering strength as she repeated, "Yes, Michael. Absolutely yes." As he slipped the ring onto her finger and sealed their engagement with a kiss, Sophia reflected on the journey that had brought them here, from a rainy Seattle cafe to this sun-dappled bookstore in Copenhagen. Life had no guarantees, and the path ahead would undoubtedly hold more challenges. But in Michael's arms, Sophia knew she had found something rare and precious, a love built on mutual respect, shared growth, and unwavering commitment. Outside, the Danish summer light danced on canal waters as Sophia and Michael began writing the next chapter of their story together, one they would author side by side, word by loving word, day by beautiful day.